You know that moment when your paycheck lands? You feel responsible for about 6 hours. Then somehow your money turns into vapor. And by the third week, you open your banking app like it's a horror trailer. Rent paid, lights on, no crazy shopping spree, still broke. Still confused, still wondering who robbed you. Here's the part nobody talks about. It usually wasn't one huge mistake. It was 10 tiny ones, 15, 20, all wearing the costume of normal adult spending. And the classic advice? Track everything, fix everything, audit every category, become a part-time accountant in your own kitchen. Yeah, that sounds smart. It also fails for the same reason crash diets fail. Too many decisions, too much friction, too many little battles. Your brain taps out, then your card taps in. So no, the problem isn't that you're lazy, and it isn't that you're bad with money. You're being dragged into a game built on scattered attention. The cheat code is stupidly simple. Almost disrespectfully simple. One bill, 1 month. That's it. And if you do it right, the math stacks fast. Not fake guru fast, not manifest abundance fast, real fast. The kind that quietly turns into over $1,000 a month. Legally, I gotta say, none of this is financial advice. Personally, I'd say it's just common sense they don't teach you in Econ 101. Look, if you've ever made a full budget, color-coded it, felt amazing, then ignored it 12 days later, welcome. You're not the glitch. The system is. Because budgeting, the way most people do it, asks your brain to solve 50 tiny problems at once. Should you cut groceries? Call your phone provider? Cancel a subscription? Use less power? Stop ordering food? Switch insurance? Cook more? Drive less? Compare banks? Rebuild your spending plan? That is not a plan. That's a swarm. And when your brain sees a swarm, it doesn't become disciplined. It becomes tired, then impulsive, then weirdly generous to corporations. Researchers have been showing this pattern for years. Give people too many choices and action drops. Not because the options are bad, because choice itself becomes the tax. Street translation. Decision fatigue means your brain starts charging you interest by evening. In the morning you say, I'm fixing my whole financial life. At night, you're staring at a delivery app paying $14 for noodles and vibes. That's not because you don't care. That's because your prefrontal cortex, fancy term, got cooked. In street terms, your mental battery hit red and the house kept billing. Now meet Marcus, 26, makes decent money, not rich, not struggling on paper. His paycheck says he should be fine. His account says, cute theory. Every month, Marcus tried the full reset. New spreadsheet, new budget, new promise to himself. He would cancel waste, cook more, track receipts, compare plans, and stop random spending. For maybe a week, he looked like a financial monk. Then real life entered the chat. Late class, busy shift, friend birthday, automatic renewal, low energy. One bad day, then another. And because he was trying to control everything, the whole system cracked at the first pressure point. That's the trap. The trap is not overspending. The trap is trying to stop every leak at once. The banks love this, by the way. The apps love it. Every subscription business on earth loves it. Why? Because scattered attention is profitable. If your money leaks from 10 places, you rarely attack any one leak hard enough to kill it. You just get annoyed. And annoyed people do not optimize. They adapt. They shrug. They normalize the loss. Well, I guess prices are just crazy. Well, I need a treat sometimes. Well, it's only $11. Right, and only $11 charges later, you're funding somebody else's quarterly bonus. Here's what actually works. Narrow the battlefield until your brain can win. One bill, 1 month. Not one budget forever. Not one magical spreadsheet. One recurring expense gets all your attention for 30 days. Everything else stays stable while you hunt one target like it owes you money. Because it does. The reason this works is boring neuroscience and beautiful street math. When you focus on one problem, your brain starts noticing related patterns automatically. That hidden discount, that duplicate charge, that dumb fee, that cheaper route, that wasted default. You ever buy a certain sneaker, then suddenly see it everywhere? Same thing. Attention changes visibility. When your target is groceries, your brain spots price traps. When your target is subscriptions, you notice every little charge sneaking through at 2 in the morning. When your target is your phone bill, every line item starts looking suspicious. And that matters because what gets noticed gets challenged. There's another layer too. Small wins change behavior faster than giant plans. You save $20 once, and that's cute. You save $140 every month from one category. Now your brain goes, oh, wait, this is real. That's momentum. Not motivational poster momentum. Evidence momentum. Your identity starts shifting. Not into some finance bro in a blazer, relax. Into someone who knows how to spot extraction. And once that switch flips, you stop asking, can I be good with money? You start asking, where else are they playing me? That's a better question. A richer question, too. So let me show you how this stacks in real life. Not fantasy, not six-figure nonsense. Not just stop buying coffee, which is financial advice from people who think rent costs 7 raspberries. Meet Janelle, 29, works full-time, shares an apartment, pays her bills, doesn't gamble, doesn't buy designer nonsense. Still feels broke more often than she should. She didn't need a bigger income first. She needed a narrower target. Month 1, she picked subscriptions. That category is the easiest opening move because it's full of lazy money. Money that leaves while you're brushing your teeth. Money with excellent branding and terrible loyalty. She listed every recurring digital charge. Streaming, cloud storage, a language app, 2 workout memberships, a premium music plan, 1 forgotten trial that mutated into a monthly parasite. At first, she guessed it was maybe $60. It was $153. That's how extraction works. Not dramatic. Drip by drip. She cut what she didn't use, downgraded what she barely used, and split one service legally within her household. The monthly save was $138. Not life-changing alone, but the first brick matters. Month 2, groceries. And no, this wasn't eat rice in despair. That's fake discipline. It explodes on contact. She did 3 things. First, she stopped shopping without a list. Second, she switched from random restocks to 1 main weekly run. Third, she gave herself 2 default low-effort meals for chaotic days. That last part matters more than people think, because most overspending doesn't happen when you're hungry. It happens when you're tired and need a decision now. Her previous grocery pattern was messy. Half-planned carts, duplicate sauces, produce dying in the drawer like a tiny, expensive funeral, random convenience store stops, then takeout because there's nothing at home. After 30 days of one category focus, she cut waste hard. Not just spending, waste. The new monthly average came down by $206. Combined total so far, $344 a month. Now her brain was hooked. Not emotionally, mathematically. Month 3, phone and internet. Most people never challenge these bills because they assume the price is the price. That assumption is expensive. She checked her plan. There were add-ons she never requested, a protection feature she didn't need, and speeds in her internet package that sounded impressive but changed nothing in her real life. Then she did the move most people avoid because it feels awkward. She called. Not once. Twice. The first rep gave the polished script. The second rep found new eligibility. Amazing how that works when you sound willing to leave. Street translation. Loyalty pricing often means they charge you more because you stopped looking. After plan changes and promo matching, she saved $162 a month. Now we're at over $500. And this is where people mess up the story. They hear 500 and think, cool, but that sounds like extreme optimization. No. Extreme optimization is vacuum sealing spinach and making your own toothpaste. This is basic fine print warfare. Month 4, eating out and delivery. This category is sneaky because people count the meal, not the system around the meal. The meal says $19. The final charge says $32. Delivery fee, service fee, small order fee. Tip, tax. Another fee for daring to be alive, apparently. So Janelle didn't ban restaurants. That would have failed. She set a friction rule. No app orders unless friends were involved or unless food at home was literally impossible. Actually, not impossible. Truly unavailable. She also created one lazy dinner shelf in the freezer. Cheap stuff. Fast stuff. Not glamorous. Functional. That shelf killed emergency takeout. She kept one social meal out each week, planned it, enjoyed it, paid for it on purpose. Everything else had to beat the at-home option by enough to be worth it. The savings there were $274 a month. Now we're knocking on $800. Month 5, insurance. This one sounds boring. That's why it prints money for companies. Boring bills survive because no one wants to compare them. They count on your boredom. She reviewed renter's coverage and car coverage, raised one deductible to a level she could actually handle, removed overlap she didn't need, and asked the most underrated question in personal finance. What exactly am I paying for here? Silence on the other end is usually profitable. The adjustment saved $93 a month. Month 6, banking fees and utilities. Banking fees are insult money. Overdraft charges, maintenance charges, ATM charges, transfer charges, all the little toll booths they install between you and your own cash. And utilities? That's not just turn off lights. That's checking rate plans, unplugging vampire electronics, adjusting habits that cost money every single day without ever feeling important. She switched accounts, killed avoidable fees, set lower autopay thresholds, used a simple thermostat routine, and stopped running half-empty loads like electricity was a family friend. That month saved another $110. Add it all up. Subscriptions, groceries, phone and internet, delivery, insurance, banking and utilities. $1,023 a month, without a raise, without working extra shifts, without becoming a budgeting monk, without fixing everything at once. That's the whole point. The one bill rule doesn't win because it's aggressive. It wins because it's survivable. You can repeat survivable. You can't repeat overwhelming. And before somebody says, yeah, but her case is special, cool. Let's make it less special. Maybe your numbers are smaller. Fine. Maybe subscriptions save you 80. Groceries save 120. Phones save 60. Delivery saves 100. Fees save 40. Utilities save 30. That still stacks into hundreds every month. The game isn't finding one magic bill. It's creating a chain of permanent reductions. Permanent is sexy. People just don't market it well. Now there's a trap inside the trap. This is where most people fumble the bag. You save the money, and then you spend it somewhere else. This is called leakage. Fancy term. Street translation, the cash escaped because you left the door open. Your grocery bill drops by $150. Then somehow weekends get looser. You deserve more convenience. You upgrade random stuff. You start clicking faster because you feel safer. Congratulations. You optimized one category and donated the win to another. The fix is not more willpower. Stop worshiping willpower. It's inconsistent and dramatic. The fix is extraction control. Every time you reduce a recurring bill, move that exact amount out of checking automatically. Same week, same amount. No debate. If your phone bill drops by $68, then $68 gets transferred automatically. Not around 60, not whatever's left over. The exact amount. Because labeled money behaves differently from floating money. Money with a job is harder to casually murder. Call it a buffer. Call it a future rent shield. Call it your anti-stupid fund. I do not care. Just don't leave it lounging and checking like fresh prey. And yes, this matters even if your income is unstable. Actually, especially then. When income moves around, controlled expenses matter more. Every recurring bill you shrink lowers the pressure on every future paycheck. You're not just saving money. You're lowering the minimum amount life charges to be you. That is power. Quiet power, but still power. So if you want to use this rule, here's the clean version. Pick one category. Just one. The easiest one is usually subscriptions or phone. Start where the resistance is low and the win is visible. Next, collect 30 days of data. Not forever, just enough to see the leak clearly. Then ask 3 questions. What am I paying for? What part of this is habit, not need? What part survives only because I never challenged it? After that, attack the category from 3 angles. Cancel, downgrade, negotiate. If it's groceries, replace negotiate with simplify. If it's insurance, replace simplify with compare. If it's fees, replace compare with escape. You do that for 1 month only. You do not fix 8 other things. You do not start a new life on Monday. You stay on one target until the lower number becomes real. Then you lock in the gain with an automatic transfer. Then you move to the next bill. That's it. That's the whole machine. And the reason it feels almost unfair is because most financial advice is built for fantasy humans. Fantasy humans love spreadsheets. Fantasy humans never get tired. Fantasy humans compare plans during lunch and meal prep on Sundays with angelic patience. Real humans get off work fried, open an app, and make expensive decisions at low battery. So build for the real human, not the fantasy one. This rule respects attention, and attention is the scarce asset nobody budgets. One more thing. Do not start with the most painful category. That's ego talking. People love saying, I'm going to fix rent first, maybe. But if the first battle takes 6 weeks and 7 phone calls, you might quit before the system proves itself. Start with the easy kill. Subscriptions, fees, phone plan. Something you can visibly reduce in days, not months. Small win first, belief second, bigger moves after. That's not weakness, that's sequencing. And once you've stacked a few wins, something weird happens. Stores stop hypnotizing you as easily. Default settings start looking suspicious. Convenience starts looking overpriced. You stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like an auditor. That identity shift is the real bag. Because when you become the person who questions recurring charges, the savings don't stay in one category. The mindset spreads. Not because you're obsessed, because you can finally see. You notice the rigged casino for what it is. Tiny monthly extractions, hidden in plain sight, disguised as adulthood. And once you see it, you can't really unsee it. So no, you do not need a whole new life. You need one bill, 1 month, one clean win, then another, until the version of you that used to say, I don't know where my money goes, starts sounding like an old character you outgrew. Don't let them play you. Listen to what they're actually saying.